Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. When I went to go post a short, YouTube said, here are the things that we think your channel is about. And it was news. So I don't know if you know this, but several years ago, all of the big news outlets signed a multi-million-dollar contract with YouTube. They got to be first on news. They got to cover the news, be the top coverage of news if you look it up. They got to be the top keyword in news. Online keywords mean you're searching for something like you say, how to bake an apple pie. So let's assume that ABC News wanted to be the number one in the word apple pie. Their keyword would be apple pie. So in their contract with the news organizations, the news organization says we want to be number one in news keywords. So I'm assuming Trump is in the news, Trump is trending, and the news organization goes, okay, give us number one in Trump. So when you go type in Trump, you get all of the news, except for Fox. For whatever reason, Fox doesn't show up on the front at the top of the search. Why did I say all that? So I used to do news on YouTube a long time ago, all the time, and I was very good at it. And I was number one in a lot of keywords. I was very quick on stories that came out. I didn't break the news myself, but I was like the next person in line. So if something happened in Brazil, the person literally on the ground going, oh my God, this is happening in Brazil. I was the next guy who had a video up about Brazil. So I was doing great. I was doing so great that I was beating CNN in a lot of videos way back in the day. Way back in the day when 10,000 views was outrageous. When they signed the contract, I immediately dropped out of the running altogether. I believe that YouTube has grown so big, and this is what I really didn't understand. YouTube has grown so big, and I thought they were big back then, before the contract. I thought they should have told the news people, no, screw you, we're YouTube, we don't need you. But, they paid them millions of dollars. What are you going to, YouTube has never been profitable, right? Google bought them. Google literally funds YouTube. They're the number 2 website on the entire internet in the world. Google is number 1. Even so, as the number 2 website, they still are not profitable. What doesn't make them profitable? They freely give us free space to upload and store our videos, and they do not charge us. That costs a lot of money. And something like thousands or millions of hours of video are uploaded every minute or hour, something like that. I used to know the numbers. I don't anymore. So I wanted to harken back to the days when I did news and I'd upload 10 videos a day. You didn't know I used to do that, right? If you haven't been with me that long, you wouldn't know. I of course probably had a mental breakdown, or a nervous breakdown. One video actually beat TMZ. It's not my claim to fame, but I thought it was pretty funny. On the same exact story, I beat TMZ. I had more views and I came above them. That was a long time ago. So today we're going to talk about 3 things that you should probably know about the Trump fraud case. And probably you don't know, and probably they're not going to explain it to you. Number 1, this case shouldn't have been brought at all. Now, I'm a little bit more eloquent than Trump. I know Trump is a multi-billionaire and we all have our own little talents. So he has a talent for making deals. I have a talent for speaking English. This whole pronoun thing is so annoying to me. You have no idea. As a person who is meticulous with their English, I am so destroyed by the whole, they sat on the chair. No, it's just one person who's sitting on the chair. It's not a group of people. It kills me. It literally kills me. It wouldn't kill me unless, in addition to that, when I go online, people are speaking broken English and they're selling something or producing something that people are actually consuming. And I'm just like, but it's broken English. Why would you? I don't understand. I used to be beat. I told you I grew up as an aristocrat. I used to be beat. I would get beatings if I said the wrong grammatical word. And I'm talking word after word. Each word had to be perfect. Last year, my mother slapped me for saying something. I'm a grown man. This case should not have been brought at all. This case has 0 victims involved. This case is a civil case, not a criminal case. A civil case should only be brought by the persons who would be the victim. Letitia Jackson, the DA, the New York DA, district attorney, is claiming that she has the authority to bring this case because it is fraud based on general accounting practice, generally accepted accounting practices, GAAP, right? Well, the problem is it's a civil case. Do you understand the distinction that I'm trying to make here? Your news, your local and state and national news is trying to couch this as some sort of criminal case. They're trying to make you think it's a criminal case. She's asking for $250 million. Point number 2. The judge valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. Hold on. The judge made a ruling on the case before anybody had even walked into the courtroom. That is not how you conduct a trial. That's not how you conduct yourself as a judge. Number 3. So he made this evaluation, right? Or he made this value when properties that are smaller without oceanfront property are being valued at $35 to $40 million. Smaller, no oceanfront outlet, $35 million. Versus Mar-a-Lago, which has, I think, like a corner lot with oceanfront beaches nearly surrounding it, right? And it's much larger, to the tunes of 5 times as large as the next property next to it. And Trump is valuing it at $1 billion to $1.5 billion. Then experts posted in Florida, the judge's valuation is completely off base, and he doesn't understand basic accounting principles and valuations of real estate. Where did he get the $18 million from? He got that from the tax property. If you are familiar with real estate at all, the tax assessor makes an assessment for tax purposes. And so he says, we are going to tax you at this rate for this valuation that I've made. And the tax assessment valuation of a property is like half or even a tenth of what the actual value of the market value of the property. If you've spent 2 seconds looking at real estate and looking at the assessor's notes. So then Trump's team tried to bring experts into court to testify to the valuation of Mar-a-Lago. And the judge said no. When a judge does not allow expert testimony, which will completely refute things that have been said in trial, you know you have a kangaroo court. I told you this during the Bill Cosby trial. I told you this in the O.J. Simpson trial. I told you this in, what else? The Toby Maguire thing. The idea is not to exclude people who are going to prove the innocence of the person that you are trying. The idea is to present all of the evidence. For instance, in the January 6th thing, there is hundreds of hours of video that the defendants in the January 6th trials that they had individually did not know existed and were not allowed to present, which completely proved their innocence. They're still in jail. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they still have seats in Congress, don't they? They know that this exists, and Speaker McCarthy, who's no longer Speaker McCarthy, actually handed over thousands of hours to Tucker Carlson for him to review, which he showed, and he was then immediately blacklisted. Was it because of that, or was it because of something else? I believe it was because of that. I know they talked about voter fraud, but I don't believe it's that. I know because Trump has been saying voter fraud for forever, and he's just now being harassed for that. That's because he is now running for president, and it is the campaign season. And finally, bonus thing, they are bringing him into court right now because it interferes with his campaigning. But Trump is playing chess while they are playing checkers. By him being in court, by him being sitting there quietly, Trump sitting there quietly, even the New York Times says Trump sat there quietly, even when the judge wagged his finger at him and warned him about this and that and the other. Trump sat there quietly. And then they allowed video cameras in the courtroom, and they take millions of pictures, and they're not supposed to be there. Well, the video cameras are not supposed to be there. And so they finally cleared the courtroom of that. But Trump is sitting there quietly when he should be campaigning, but now he is getting national attention all day long. So the people in Iowa, the people in New Hampshire can sit in their lovely living room and watch Trump sit there quietly and listen to this judge and the prosecutors say all of these false things, and then his lady attorney gets up and says, well, all of that is not true, and here is why it's not true. Did you actually graduate from college? Oh, look at that. No, you didn't graduate from college, but you're an accountant. Why would the prosecution put somebody on the stand as an expert when they didn't even graduate from college and don't know the generally accepted accounting principles to begin with? They have none of the credentials for an expert witness. Oh, so now Gloria and Stan go, ooh, that's terrible. Trump has to put up with this. And then today we get the final words of the judge who contradicted himself, and he says, you know what? I was wrong. The statute of limitations have run. So the entire portion of the case where the statute of limitations have run, I am going to completely exclude that and dismiss it because the statute of limitations have run. And that, folks, is 80% of the case. So they've been sitting there having a trial on 80% of the case that should not have even been talked about. And there you go. There you have it. I got an eviction notice. YouTube has not been very profitable for me this year. Just to tell you, the Biden economics means that there is very high inflation. People cannot afford things. When you cannot afford something, you don't buy something. And so the advertisers shrink their marketing budget. So what happens then? There's less marketing pool. And you can tell me, do you see ads on my channel or not? When there's less marketing pool, YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, says most of the advertising should go to the videos that get the most traffic. These are all of the multimillionaire YouTubers. I am not mad at the multimillionaire YouTubers. More power to them. God bless them. Hug from me. E-hug from me. More power to you. I'm Capricorn. You do you. Make that bank. But they don't spread it out evenly. They don't spread it out first come, first serve. They shift it to the multi-billionaire or multi-millionaire. Do we have a billionaire YouTuber yet? I think Mr. Beast cracked it or something, or he should be cracking it, but he's not actually cracking it because of how YouTube pays us. But the multi-millionaire YouTubers are getting most of the advert. I mean, I understand. It's a business. They're out to make money, and they're out to satisfy the advertisers, right? The advertisers are the kings. Well, that means for the better part of this year, I have not made money. So I was living off of my credit cards, which I was telling you how to rack up your credit score. And so I got close to an 800 this year, and then there was no more money from YouTube. So I started living off of those credit cards, which I had not used. So I had thousands of dollars in credit. And so I said, okay, next month the economy will turn. Next month the economy will turn. Next month the economy will turn? Next month the economy will. I'm out of credit. They posted a eviction notice yesterday. The constable will be here tomorrow. If you can donate, if you can find it in your heart to donate, please do so. I'm begging. I don't beg for. Anyway, I'm asking. I know YouTube actually has told me that something like 70% of my audience is rich. Not middle class, rich. Like the bar of the chart goes all the way up. They never donate. Somebody did donate today, and I thank you. You have no idea how much stress I'm having. I was talking to my mother tonight, and I broke out crying, talking about my grandmother, which astonished my mother. And then I said, you know what's going on? I am stressed out. You have to forgive me. I've never cried in front of I didn't cry. It was over the phone. I didn't actually like cry, but I was like, and she was a great woman. Everybody, we both knew what was going on. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please donate. I was thinking of doing a live stream and having a fundraiser thing, but instead I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this mess on my own. Thank you. Bye.